Good morning, Georgia Adventure here. Rainy morning in Georgia, so I hope y'all can hear me with the rain hitting the window and the windshield and the road noise. Sorry for the road noise, ain't much I can do about that. But so I am going through Dallas, Georgia. I got up, left the house about 4:15. But today's inspirational talk, I think this is inspirational talk number 9 or number 10, I think. So this one is on a storm that I had to work, and this was a tornado that hit Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and I was in safety then. I was a safety and health advisor. I wasn't on a crew anymore. So being in safety, you have to go on storms and check on the crew and to make sure all the safety policies are being done. Make sure everybody's working safe. There's a lot of dangerous things out there during the storm. So that tornado went through Tuscaloosa, downtown Tuscaloosa, the main road, and went up through northwest Georgia, went out through the country, and of course it tore some stuff up there. But there wasn't as much because it was pretty rural, excuse me. But so we got there, and of course, it looks like a war zone. It's everything is destroyed. It's just, it looked like a big bomb went off, just a big huge bomb went off, and there were power poles everywhere that were laying down, wire everywhere laying down, and the substation was destroyed, and houses, like I was up on top of a hill and you could look across. I was kind of up on a high spot, and there was just that path of that tornado was a big path, and it was just destruction, and it just, you just stand there and look at it, standing there in the middle of all that stuff, and it's just really overwhelming. The power of that, the power of a hurricane, the power of God. Now, I know God don't, I know He, I don't know or don't believe that God would make a hurricane or a tornado come through like that. Now, He has destroyed the world. He's destroyed the world before one time during the flood when Noah was here. I know God's a loving God, and He only wants good things for us. But tornadoes and hurricanes and things like that are natural occurrences. It's part of the natural cycle of nature, I guess you could say. But like I said, this was a big tornado. It was huge. And you stand there and you look at these 3,000-pound trucks and cars just tossed around, laying on their side, laying on top of each other. Houses that are gone, just completely gone. Businesses destroyed. Big steel transmission poles broke, laying on the ground, just bent, laying on the ground. So it really just puts things in perspective. How fragile life is. So I get out and first morning out there, I go out, there's a crew, a couple of crews parked, and they're doing some, some things and working, trying to restore power. And so I look over, and I'm parked there, I'm in a pickup truck, and I look over, and I see this lady. I don't know, she was probably my age. Back then, I was in my 40s back then, and so, well, I was probably around 50 then. picked it up, looked at it, put it in the trash can, and she was. Now keep in mind, her house is destroyed. Her car's laying. I guess it was her car. You don't really know whose car it is because that stuff gets tossed around so much. But her car was laying on its side, and the house was just rubble. You know, it was just just debris everywhere, and she's got that trash can. So I figured out that she was picking up things to keep her belongings. So I walked over there, and you don't really know what to say. I just asked her, if she needed anything, any water or any food or anything. She said, no, I'm okay. I said, well, that's good. I'm glad, She said, I'm just trying to get some of my stuff, and that, that really just impacted me, man. That brought me to tears because she's got that trash can and she's picking up stuff, pictures, and just little bitty things that most of us wouldn't think was a big deal. She's trying to get, sorry for yawning. She's trying to get, her personal belongings out of that stuff. It's kind of dangerous to be in there. But she's picking up her stuff. And I walked back over to the truck, tried to keep my eye on the cruise, and I kept looking over there, and it really tugs on your heart when you see stuff like that, it really just puts things in perspective on how fragile your life is. I mean, your life is fragile. It can change in a blink of an eye. So I leave there and go to another place, and it's just destroyed. So the next day, I get up and we go out and have breakfast, and we go out. We were at a staging area and we ate breakfast there. So we go out and up on a hill, and the roads around in there kind of, they go down hills, the way the terrain is. And you can be up on top and you can look out in these neighborhoods and stuff. And it's just, the damage is just vast. I mean, it's just, real severe damage. I mean, just horrible. It looked like a war zone. Just everything in that tornado's path was destroyed. So I pulled down. There's a crew down there, and I pulled down and I parked, and I'm kind of sitting on a hill, an incline. So I get out and I'm kind of looking around and watching what the crew does. And I look over to my right, and there's this house, and this house doesn't have any damage to it, none. I mean, not even a shingle gone off the roof. There's no damage. And there's this elderly man out there, and he's got a rake, and he's raking debris and leaves and pine straw that the wind blew. He's raking it out of his yard, just raking it. He's out there by himself. And keep in mind, the houses next to him, in front of him, beside him, behind him, were gone. They were destroyed. And his house was intact. Nothing wrong with it. Just, like I said, not even a shingle, from what I could tell, was gone off the roof. And he's out there just raking the yard up and cleaning it up. Got that rake, and he's got him some little piles out there there that he raked up. And, you know, I just look over there. We made eye contact. I waved at him. He just kind of waved back. So I walked down there and asked him if he needed anything. He said, "No, sir, I'm fine." You know. So it was just very puzzling that house was in the middle of all them other houses that were destroyed, but it was saved, you know. And I told him, I said, your house. I said, your house isn't damaged at all, is it? He said, "No, sir." He said, "I'm a praying man." And, you know, he said that, man, that just really impacted me. He said, "I'm a praying man." And I just took it, went with it. I believed him. I believe he prayed. He must have been praying a lot. I know God answers prayers. And God answered his prayer. And I just walked back to the truck and, you know, just didn't really know what to think about that, you know, a house like that. It was God, there's no doubt. But, you know, things like that really impact you. So I went on a couple more streets. I pulled up with another crew, just checking on them. And there was all these houses in here were destroyed pretty much. I noticed a guy standing out there in front of his house. You know, he was just looking, you know. His house was destroyed. And I noticed his garage. There was I think it looked like a Ford Expedition, a big SUV type vehicle that was in his, you know, that was in the garage, and the garage had caved in on it pretty much. So I asked him, you know, I like to talk to people, check on them, and ask them how, you know, if he's all right, you know, which is a dumb question. He said, "Yeah." He said, "We just stayed here." I said, "You stayed here during the tornado?" He goes, "Yeah." So he tells me he gets bicycle helmets. They had some bicycle helmets in the garage, and so he puts them on his kids and gives his wife one. Said he didn't have one. He didn't. And they got a bunch of pillows and blankets and stuff, and they wrapped their kids up and put the pillows over their head. They got in that vehicle, in that Expedition, while it was in the garage, parked in the garage. And they all got in that thing and had all them pillows and them helmets on and them blankets wrapped up in them. And they got in that Expedition, and the tornado came over their house and basically destroyed the house. And so they were in that house when it came up, when the tornado came over. And I was amazed that they lived. I was amazed that Expedition wasn't just tossed around like the others, or laying on its top, or laying on its side, you know, or just crushed, you know. And I was amazed that they survived that tornado. They survived that tornado doing that. And that was I would say that was a quick decision that they made. He made the right decision. That was a quick decision that they had to make. And they all made it through the tornado. They all survived. And, you know, I was just amazed. And I told him, I said, that was a great decision you made. He said, "Yeah." He said, "I didn't really know if it was the right one then, but we didn't have time." We didn't have time to do anything. So that was what they did, and so, and one thing that I've noticed working storms and people do that you should not do is people, like after a hurricane or the next morning or after a tornado comes through, for some reason people like to get out and walk around and sightsee. They like to get out and walk after the storm goes through, walk their dog or just walk around. And that's not a wise thing to do, because there's wire everywhere. And people see these movies on Hollywood where there's a wire laying in the road and it's sparking. Well, that's Hollywood. That ain't always the case. You can have a wire laying down across the road or across the sidewalk or across your driveway. It's got 20,000 volts and it's energized, but it don't look like it's energized. But it's energized, so you walk over to it and try to step over and it'll kill you. It's happened. That's just not a smart thing to do. Try to stay in your house. So this lady was walking around with her daughter downtown Tuscaloosa, and there's, and I'm sitting there in my truck later that day. I'm sitting there and watching the cruise, and so I get out and I'm just kind of leaning on the truck, and this lady, she's got her daughter, and her daughter was probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old, probably 4 years old, I guess. She's got her out walking around in this hazardous area, which didn't make no sense. And the little girl had cut her leg on a piece of wire. So she saw me and she came over there and asked me if I had a first aid kit. And, I said, yeah, I do. She said, well, she cut her leg on a piece of wire. And I did tell her, I said, this ain't the best place to be walking around. There's too many dangerous things to get into. You shouldn't be. That's the safety side of it. And then me raising girls, I see this little girl, she got a cut. She got a cut on the side of her leg. So I said, put her up on the tailgate right here. I got the first aid kit, and the little girl, she's sitting there and she's crying, and I feel bad, but she's crying, and it's not a bad cut, it doesn't need any kind of stitches or anything, but it cut her, and she, I guess, she scared her a little bit, so I get the needle scoring, I get the first aid stuff out, put a little extra bandage on there to make her feel better, and so she liked it, and so I gave them a few extra little bandages, band-aids and stuff, and got her down off the tailgate, and she was happy, the little girl was happy, the mama was happy, told me she appreciated it. And I said, well, I would appreciate if you would go home. Don't be walking out and stuff, because there's a lot of bad stuff. Hopefully she did. And but it's funny how those kind of things stick with you in life. Those kind of things you never forget. Even something as little as that, you just don't forget it. That man raking his yard, you just don't forget things. There's certain things you always remember. I know I do. In every storm I've been on, there's something that sticks with me. And I've been on a lot of them. I've been on a lot of hurricanes, ice storms, and I've seen people suffering, but they rise above it. People question, I've had people say, why does God do stuff like this. I said, well, I don't believe God. I can't say for sure, but I don't believe he sent that tornado through there. I think it's a natural, he created them, but it's a natural occurrence that happens. You know, he doesn't want us to suffer. But, you know, I know people blame God for stuff like that. You know, I don't do that. Because I know he's merciful and he loves us. So yeah, that's one of my, I guess, experiences in a storm, that certain things will stay with me probably forever till I'm gone. But it really has an impact on certain things. So I hope y'all enjoyed the talk this morning. If you do, leave a comment. Appreciate you subscribing to my channel. YouTube says I'm not eligible to get paid right now, so who knows what's up with that. I do know I had a big video banned, so they may hold that against me back last year. And all the video was my grandson, me and my grandson on a Pioneer riding across the pasture. So they took it down, said it was detrimental to children. And, you know, so they may hold that against me, so they don't have to pay me. So not getting paid, I ain't got an email or anything from them. They said they'd send me an email, and so whatever, whatever YouTube, fight over the whole YouTube thing anyways, it's just trying to play by their silly rules, But anyway, that's the video. I appreciate you liking the channel. Appreciate you subscribe to it. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna do YouTube. I'm about fed up with them. But anyway, I enjoy it. I enjoy making videos, but I don't enjoy YouTube. I don't like their rules. They get a little bit silly with stuff. They can't. They don't seem to be able to determine or distinguish, between real violence, real sexual stuff, or stuff that's innocent. It's just because they don't like it. So anyway, that's the deal. I'm surprised they don't ban us for putting a knife on there. I really am. But, I'm going to stick with it for a little bit. I may end up just saying the heck with YouTube. Just, I don't like to have to walk on eggshells because of their strange beliefs. So anyway, this will be another. This is number 10. I think this will be Inspirational Talk number 10. Maybe I didn't say anything wrong or do anything wrong. YouTube won't take it down. Anyway, God bless you. Y'all have a great day. Be safe out there. Keep your blades sharp. Have a great week.